things, especially that the NSO brings to this conversation, as well as the importance for investment. So now I'd like to hear from the NSO here. Rohit, if you could tell us, in this AI-driven ecosystem, especially when it comes to an evolution of the role of NSOs, as François mentioned, should the NSO act primarily as a data producer or as a steward and a regulator of data and statistics?
Thank you, Masjid. Thank you, Pansua. I thought half the work had been done by yes, thank you very much once again. So let me just discuss it in two different manners. So one is, in present role, NSOs cannot have a binary or exclusive role that I'll be only data producing and somebody else will take up the onus of being a data steward. It has to be a combination or intersection. Now NSO's role has to evolve, and it needs to evolve from being only a passive data producer to something which is orchestrating the entire data ecosystem. So that is how I look at NSOs. To begin with, let me talk about the production capacity, which François, my colleague, talked in detail, but I just want to emphasize on few points. One is that what NSOs produce, that cannot be produced in any other ecosystem. So NSOs has continued to produce data which it produces, the GDPs, the CPIs, the inflation, the socioeconomic indicators, the surveys. It's just impossible for any other organization to produce so much of data. So data needs to be produced by NSOs, and we need to continue to produce those data. Most importantly is that we have been say, NSO India. Let's talk about NSO India. NSO India has a history of almost 75 years, and now we are in our 76th years. Over a period of 76 years, different types of classification, codes, templates have been created, best practices have been absorbed over a period of time. So NSOs, with just because of its legacy, has the capacity to produce quality data which I feel no other organization has. And most importantly, let me tell you one more thing here, that NSO is supposed to produce data for analysis. If you really think about any other source of data, the primary use is not analysis. Administratively, it's for administration. Geospatial, it's for something else, not for analysis. So NSO is the only organization which produces data for policy making, for analysis. As a result, the NSO's data is comparatively, I'll say, nothing is perfect, comparatively has better quality, better standards, better production philosophies in comparison to any other data. But having said that, I don't mean that other data are less important, and other data is equally important, but we need to work with those data to bring it to the standards on which the NSO data is produced. A. Now, second point, and Masjid, you are free to tell me when my time is over. Okay. So the second point is that, but what is the evolving role of NSO? So we have to understand that their NSO has an evolving role, and that evolving role, I saw it in four pillars. One is data governance, which we all talk about, talking and how to govern any data. Then second is, which is to me is very important, is validating a data set. So administrative data has been created, but whether that data is up to the mark for analysis, for use by AI, that is something I would say is very important, and NSO plays that role to validate that data set. Then orchestrating the entire data ecosystem. And I mean, what do I mean by that? The example is that on 24th of this month, we are going to call every state government to talk about how to best use their administrative data. So orchestrating the ecosystem to work to better the data for AI. And lastly, which is also very important, is ethical requirements, trust, and all that. So this is what, and we at NSO India have been working on it. We have our own national metadata standards. We have our quality frameworks. We have our own codes and classifications. We have a digital bouquet of data dissemination, because if data cannot be accessed, there's no point talking about data either. So the very logic of NSO existing is data dissemination. That is why we are working on it, and all of you must be knowing, most of you may be knowing that NSO India has come out with the MCP server as well. So you don't have to come out with your own, and it has your own environment. If you have a cloud subscription, work there in the cloud and get it connected to our database and do whatever you like to with that. So this is a few things I wanted to tell you. So we cannot be any more binary. It has to be a mix of both. That's what I call it.
Thank you, Rohit. I think that's a very logical answer, and thanks for laying that So now we've spoken about the roles, the mandates, but let's get practical. Randy, from a technical perspective, if a ministry wants to publish an open data set tomorrow, what are 3 things that really need to be in place for this data to be AI ready and for responsible reuse at scale?
Thank you for that question. And I know in a couple of previous comments, these topics may have come up. I'm going to emphasize on those again here. The 3 key principles that we at Google and Data Commons are putting in place is using and enriching metadata. I know Rohit, you also mentioned metadata is so important. Um, and once the data is enriched with right amount of metadata, that data will be easily understood by agents in today's world. And then comes your standards. We can't just operate in different 20, 30 different ways of organizing the data. We have to have certain set of standards like schema.org, SDMX, NMDS, but they have to be interoperable. We have to build adapters so that these standards can talk to each other. Otherwise, we will still be in like my standard is best standard or not. So that is a very important aspect. And last but not least, from the third thing I would say is the provenance. When I say provenance, I'll explain in a very natural language. Is when you take any food product and you read there is nutrition label, it tells you a lot of information about where that food was produced, what is the content, what kind of nutrition information. Something like that, data needs it too. Data needs provenance, which tells where it originated from, what kind of usage this data could be used. Is it public? Is it open? Is it restricted? And in addition, there could be additional enrichment on provenances. As data travels, there has to be some sort of a history of that travel and if there are any enrichment or changes have been made. So that way, we not only know where data is coming, how it has traveled, but how you can use it as well. So these are the 3 key points I would say that would make your data AI ready in a reasonable way. The agents can talk to this data.
Thank you. That's, yes, claps all around. That was really great to hear, especially for the work that we're doing. I think that answers a lot of my questions in terms of my day job. So this is very helpful for guiding me as well. In terms of, so now we've discussed the institutional roles, the technical conditions, but taking a bit of a step back, over to you, Chris. What's actually new in AI in this moment, and what's new to this debate today?
Sure. So, as opposed to my esteemed panelists, I am not a technical statistician or AI guru. I come from the world of philanthropy.